My name is Tara Salas. The reason for this seminar tonight is we want to provide you information on drug prevention, what drugs are, how you can stay away essentially from drugs, and if you are presented in a situation where you're offered drugs, like what are the things that you can do so that you're not falling into that trap of peer pressure and whatnot, because that can happen very easily. So these are the drugs. There's marijuana. I'm sure we all know what that does. Marijuana is a depressant. It slows down your functioning. You have cocaine. It's not very popular anymore in Yuma, but it's still out there. People are still using it. Methamphetamines is a really big epidemic here in Yuma, unfortunately. That is an upper that it's a stimulant, and unfortunately people get a really good high when they start using it. However, over time they become immune to it and they don't get the high anymore. And what's happening with that is you have chemicals in your brain. You actually have natural chemicals in your brain that make you feel good. For example, when you get maybe $1,000 check from grandma, you feel great. You feel absolutely fantastic. And those are your natural chemicals that do that, your serotonin level. Well, when you use methamphetamines or any of these drugs, you get that same feeling. You get that euphoric feeling. You feel good, you feel great. And what happens is the chemicals in the brain are like going like this, essentially just giving you so much chemicals to make you feel good. Well, over time, you start to destroy those chemicals in your brain, and the reuptake is, say for example, when you are using, it's going like this, okay? Well, over time, the reuptake for the serotonin and whatnot is like this, to give you sort of an example. So you feel like crap. You really do. So like when you get off of these drugs too, you feel even worse because you don't have those that chemical making you feel good because you destroyed it. The good news is though, after a period of time, you can actually heal and come back and have your natural energy and your natural feel good without the drug. So that's the whole thing, is getting people off the drug and making them feel good. One of the reasons people continually relapse is because after they stop using the drug, they have that period where they have what they call anhedonia. And what that is when you just, for lack of better terms, you just feel like crap. You don't feel good anymore. You have no more energy. So people they sleep, they don't do anything anymore, they just like have no motivation. So what they do is they go back to what they know best. They go back to using the dope so that they can feel good again. So unfortunately, that's why there's a lot of people that continually relapse. You always have that question, well, why can't they just stop? Well, it's not that easy. It's very psychosomatic. People think that they need to use the drug to feel good, and if they get off it and they feel like crap, they go back to it and keep using it. So, and it's really hard because your brain is telling you, I need that drug. I need that drug to feel good, and it's really all up here. It's mind over matter. When you do though stop and get off of the drugs, you start to feel good, and you start to repair, your brain cells start to repair, and if you're rewarded in some way, it makes you feel good about yourself that, wow, I was able to get off the drug. We also have heroin. A lot of people think that heroin is something that makes you feel like this. Actually, it's the opposite. Heroin users actually feel kind of like they do on methamphetamines. They feel energized, they feel good. Yes, they do nod off and nod out, but once they get over that piece, they're able to function. They're able to get around and feel good. So there's this notion that heroin is like the one where you're all, oh, but you'll see people out there that are using heroin and they're feeling good. And that's why they use heroin. Prescription medications, take for example opiates. It's very close to heroin. It's an opiate. So they get that same feeling, that euphoric feeling where I feel great, I feel fantastic. They can nod off too on the prescription medications. Unfortunately, you have family members, moms, dads, or whatever, that have prescription medications in their bathroom cabinet, and kids can get a hold of these medications, and they get a hold of them and, you know, try them and like them and start stealing them. And prescription medication is a big epidemic too. Not just like the pain medication, but benzodiazepines, such as like Klonopin and stuff, that are like sedatives. And so kids and people out there also get very addicted to prescription medications. They actually, for opiate addiction, they have a new thing called Suboxone that actually will help. I don't know if you've ever heard of methadone for heroin. Okay, well now they have, for prescription medications for opiates, they have Suboxone that can help you. It's kind of like the methadone. So it helps you, yes.
Kicking methadone is harder than kicking heroin.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
So the Suboxone, is that the same as methadone would be when you have to kick it or when you're not?
I would believe so.
Okay.
To me,
there isn't any data
in my own personal views, all you're doing is replacing one drug with another.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it is out there. People see it as, hey, it's just a medication, and now at least it's harm reduction, and I'm not using heroin anymore. I'm using, you know, methadone. But you're right. To kick methadone it's just as hard, if not harder, to kick it. So you see people that are on methadone for the rest of their life, but they have that notion in their brain that, you know, I'm not doing drugs anymore, which in my personal clinical opinion, you are. You really are. And the Suboxone too is the same thing, you know, but they do have these other ways to help people get off it, and maybe, you know, lowering the dose over time so that they can get off it all the way. I really believe in harm reduction when it comes to drugs. If I have an individual that comes in and says, well, I use an 8-ball a week, I ask them to use half. Yeah. Because when you tell somebody, just stop using drugs, they get that anxiety, they get all these mixed up feelings. So harm reduction is a really good way to work with people with substance abuse issues, having them use less and less and less until they can finally get off it. We do want complete abstinence, don't get me wrong, but harm reduction is a good way for some that are using high levels of dope and helping them finally kick it. Or, you know, I have individuals that drink 24-pack of beer a day, and to the point where in the middle of the night, the individuals have to wake up and drink just because they're so addicted to it. They'll go into the seizure or whatnot. So we try to use, again, harm reduction for that. You know, try to drink less and less and less until you can do that. Some people might not believe in harm reduction. Some different programs believe in abstinence all the way. But believe me, we do want abstinence too all the way, but we also implement harm reduction in our programs.
Gotta start somewhere.
The new drug, Spice. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's... Huh?
Heard of Old Spice?
It's a new drug out there, but they actually consider it legal.
Yeah.
Spice is something, this is awful. You can go to any liquor store and actually buy this stuff here in Yuma. And it's terribly expensive, and the effects are just like marijuana. You feel high, you feel loco, you feel the same way. You get the same effects from Spice as marijuana. Unfortunately, people are using it instead of marijuana, especially people that are on probation, because when they do a UA, it doesn't come out in the UA. So people are like, well, it's legal.